3 reasons your intermittent fasting might not be working next on A Mind for Fitness. Hello and welcome to A Mind for Fitness. If you're anything like me, intermittent fasting is part of your life, but there might be times where it's not working so well and you might be wondering actually what's going on. I've experienced this personally, and I know a number of people who have experienced this as well, and you might be experiencing this. So I want to talk today about 3 reasons why your intermittent fasting might not be working for you. It might not be working at all, or it might have stopped working. So these are going to be actually fairly simple reasons, but I hope that even though they're simple, you find them profound. So number 1, the very first reason that intermittent fasting might not be working for you is that you're actually not sticking to your plan. That's the first reason. So there are several plans out there which are all called intermittent fasting. There's the 16-8, there's the 2-5, there's the warrior diet, there's OMAD, which is similar to the warrior diet. You're probably familiar with all of them. But there are many times and in many occasions where you're actually just simply not sticking to it. You know, you're having your lunch a little too early, or you're making too many exceptions. So for example, somebody says, hey, let's go to lunch, and you're on OMAD, or you're on 5-2. And it's not your day to have lunch. You're trying to get to that 24-hour mark or something or other. And maybe it's an early lunch. It's not within your plan or something, or one reason or another. And you're just making too many exceptions. These plans work, but you actually just have to stick to the plan. And if you don't stick to the plan, they really don't work. But we go through, and what I've noticed, and I've done it personally as well, is kind of you know, where you make too many exceptions, you make too many justifications in your head, or you do things and you don't really realize you're doing it. So you might pass by the snack bar on your kitchen table and it's not in your eating window, and grab a handful of whatever snacks there are that you have. I've done that a number of times, not even realizing it, just because it's a habit, especially when I first started intermittent fasting. So you might not actually be sticking to your plan, number 1. Okay. The second reason intermittent fasting might not be working for you is that you're actually, even in your eating window, consuming too many calories. You're just eating too much. We do have to remember that whatever diet you choose, low carb, intermittent fasting, low fat, you do have to be burning more than you're consuming. That's just a simple fact. You have to be burning more than you are consuming. So you can consume too much on intermittent fasting, especially if you're doing the 16-8. One of the things that I love about intermittent fasting is it allows you to be a little bit more flexible with your diet. There are people who do both low carb and intermittent fasting, and they tend to get better results. You have to forgive my dogs barking in the background here. But the other thing is that you don't have to do another diet on top of it. But with that said, you still might be consuming too many calories over the course of your feeding window. And like I said, especially if you're doing a 16-8, then it's real easy to consume too many calories. And even if you're doing OMAD, 1 meal a day, you can consume too much food, especially if it's rich processed food. Now, again, intermittent fasting is a great diet. It's a great way to live because it allows you flexibility, because you can do it and you don't necessarily have to do another diet, like another low carb diet or another another kind of diet. You're restricting enough at that one meal or two meals to see results, but it doesn't mean it's a free-for-all. And there are foods which obviously you can have, but are just more calorie dense, and you're just eating too much. Now, I don't really like the term calories. I'm not terribly into calories or into calorie counting, but it is a measurement. It is a way to look at it. I just like to look at it this. If you're burning more than you're consuming, calories or otherwise, then you're going to gain weight. That's all there is to it. It's simple science. If you if you're consuming more than you're burning, you're going to gain weight. And if you're burning more than you're consuming. And so you might want to be looking at the foods you're choosing to eat. Intermittent fasting is great. It allows you more flexibility in your food choices, but it isn't a free-for-all. The third reason you might be experiencing a stall on your intermittent fasting is that your body is simply adapted to it. Sad to say is that our bodies are machines that want to survive. And part of surviving is gaining and storing calories. And your basic metabolic rate can go up and can go down. And whatever diet you choose, even if you're sticking to it, even if you're sticking to your diet, you can actually adjust to it. You can actually adjust to it, okay? So when you adjust to that, when your body adjusts to that, the best thing you can do is do something else for a while. Unfortunately, people look at diets like religion, and what they do is they double down on their diet instead of just being a little bit more open-minded and flexible. I've noticed this in the vegan community. Somebody will be vegan, and suddenly, they'll get all these great results at the very beginning of being vegan, and suddenly it's not working like they used to. And then they'll be like, well, I got to be a stricter vegan. This also happens on intermittent fasting, where, say, somebody's doing a warrior diet or a 6-2 and it stops working, and they say, well, I got to be stricter on it. I got to go to OMAD, or I got to go to every other day fasting, or something like that. Your body might just need a break from that, okay? Your body just might need a break. I recommend that you take 1 day a week and don't intermittent fast, whatever you're doing. This is my recommendation. I do it, and I've gotten great results. And I've also stalled out, and I know why I've stalled out on intermittent fasting. So take a day a week. And if you're doing a day a week and you're really doing your intermittent fasting and you're not cheating and you're not consuming a whole lot during that time, then you might want to think about taking a longer break, like take 2 weeks off, or just switch to a low carb diet for a little while, or switch to a low fat, whichever diet, or a low calorie diet throughout that, where you get to eat throughout the day. Just switch for a little while. You can always go back to intermittent fasting. Remember, diets are great, but they're not a religion. Don't think of it like, well, I can't ever stop doing intermittent fasting, okay? Because you can. And those tend to be, in my opinion, the 3 reasons that intermittent fasting stops working. Hey, listen, if you found this helpful, please go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it on your favorite social media. Those things right there they mean the world to me over here at A Mind for Fitness. And I know I don't post a lot on A Mind for Fitness like I used to. That's because I'm running another channel. As you can see back here, there's all this nostalgic stuff from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I talk about that over on my main channel, which is called Retro Serial. I'll leave a link for that in the description below. If you like what you hear here and you like my personality, you might like to listen to a little bit of Retro Serial as well. So head on over there and like and subscribe and watch some videos over there too. Hey, I hope this is helpful for you, and I really hope your intermittent fasting works and works well for you. I'm E and C. You've been watching A Mind for Fitness, and we will talk again soon.